Yes, Huawei did it too. The Mate Pro Plus series now has been renamed as Pro Max this year. Xiaomi taught us through its own sales numbers that as long as the product is powerful enough, the name doesn't matter. In fact, Huawei probably thinks the same way, which is why the Mate 80 Pro Max has become the new peak of Huawei smartphones. Also, this is the most impressive Pro Max I've ever seen, with a major redesign and a launch price lower than last year's Mate 70 Pro Plus. There's no reason the Mate 80 Pro Max would be anything less than great. Let me answer the question you are most curious about. No, this ring on the back doesn't support magnetic accessories. Why the Mate 80 Pro Max has such a ring here? It's simply to prevent the functions of the wireless charging coil from being blocked by its metal back cover. Compared to the Mate 70 series, the frames of the Mate 80 series have changed from round to flat. The benefit is that it looks slimmer. As for the downside, your hand will tell you. The Mate 80 Pro Max is a phone with many holes. The 3 holes on the screen are nothing new, basically the 3D facial recognition module and the front camera. There are also 5 holes along the frame, including the microphone, speaker port, SIM card slots. Most of them are familiar to us. But what is this one on the side for? Huawei told us that this is also one of the speakers. The difference is that it's mainly used to cancel out the sound waves leaking during calls, to protect your privacy during phone call. Many of Huawei's target users are outdoor explorers, so Huawei also designed new features for them. The Mate 80 Pro Max adds a new expedition mode that turns a modern smartphone into a professional outdoor tool. In addition to satellite communication and emergency messaging, it also extends battery life a lot. The map also has been optimized, automatically recording your path and allowing you to retrace your route anytime. With IP68 and IP69 rating and the second generation Kunlun glass, treating the Mate 80 Pro Max as an ultimate rugged phone is absolutely justified. If you have the budget to buy the Mate Pro Max or the RS Ultimate version, your display will be upgraded from a regular OLED to Tandem one. Tandem OLED is not a new technology. The iPad Pro and Huawei Mate 70 RS Ultimate both use Tandem OLED. The benefits of this panel are obvious: higher brightness, wider color gamut, and lower power consumption. Higher resolution may not be noticeable for everyone, but higher brightness is something you would definitely feel. I placed it next to several flagship phones we own, and at a glance you can see how high the Mate 80 Pro Max brightness is. Not only is it easier to read under sunlight, it also excels at the HDR content. The blinding highlights are hard to capture in video. Trust me, if you get a chance to see the Mate 80 Pro Max's display in a store, you would definitely feel tempted to buy it. The only downside of Tandem OLED is expensive. However, the Mate 80 Pro Max is probably the cheapest Tandem OLED phone at launch right now. So this should be one of the strongest reasons for you to buy this phone. The Mate 80 Pro Max uses the latest and most powerful Kirin 9030 Pro platform. Compared to the Kirin 9020, the 9030 Pro has one extra P-core, and both CPU and GPU frequencies have been improved. It's worth noting that the 4 phones in the Mate 80 series are with the 3 different Kirin processor models. If you want the highest performance from a Huawei phone, you need to get the 16GB RAM Pro version at least. Since the benchmarks we commonly use are all blacklisted by the Huawei, we won't be running benchmarks this time. The scores can't prove the strength of a chipset anyway, so let's jump straight to gaming performance. Fortunately, MiHoYo developed a HarmonyOS exclusive version of Genshin Impact. This makes it one of the very few games that can fully unleash the Kirin 9030 Pro's performance. And when you enable high performance mode, you can disable frame interpolation. Huawei also designed a new performance monitoring tool for all HarmonyOS phones, HiSmartPerf. With this, we can finally capture accurate frame rate curves from HarmonyOS devices. Whoa, look at this perfectly straight frame rate graph. Can you believe this is from a Huawei phone? This is the native frame rate without interpolation. Can't believe that. It's beautiful. Thanks to the full metal back cover, heat is evenly distributed. From this, the gaming experience seems comparable to other Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 phones. Well, The Kirin 9030 Pro has indeed made great progress, but there's a cost. Its power consumption still has room to improve. And with the battery capacity only increased by 300 mAh compared to the previous generation, less than we expected, so battery life in gaming does indeed fall behind. Fortunately, under light workloads, it's power efficient enough to rival phones with a 7000 mAh batteries if you don't play games. Wireless charging supports 100 watt and wireless charging goes up to 80 watts. It only takes 50 minutes to fully charge in our test. Overall, I think battery and charging performance are still satisfying. All 4 camera sensors on the Mate 80 Pro Max come with a SmartSense technology. Honestly, I'm very happy with all of them. The ultra-wide has a sufficiently wide field of view, and 2 telephoto lenses let me capture subjects far away. There are 2 things to note. First, the ultra-wide camera is not compromised like in many other flagships. It uses the same sensor as the 2 telephotos, meaning image quality at every focal length remains excellent. Secondly, every sensor uses an IYYB filter, increasing light intake and greatly improving low light performance. And the color shift caused by IYYB can be corrected with the 2nd gen color temperature sensor. Combined with the variable aperture on the main camera and SmartSense's new HDR technology, this is the most feature-rich and balanced camera system I've ever seen. Whether it's dynamic range, white balance, or focal coverage, I can't find any faults. Some phones try to use a so-called 200 megapixel telephoto camera, rely on in-sensor zoom to cover longer focal lengths. Although in most cases, the cropped photos look similar to the Mate 80 Pro Max's optical zoom, this approach has 2 major drawbacks you might not know. One, their telephoto cameras can't shoot macro photos. The Mate 80 Pro Max's 4x telephoto has a minimum focusing distance of 5 centimeters, the best macro performance we've ever seen on any phone, period. 2, if you need to shoot a video using the telephoto lens, the quality difference becomes huge. So, between a single large sensor telephoto and 2 smaller sensor telephotos that cover longer ranges, I've always choose the latter. Speaking of video recording, the Mate 80 Pro Max has improved a lot as well. Shaking caused by stabilization has been reduced significantly. The ultra-wide sensor is also larger than that of other flagships, performing better than expected in a low light. The front camera is also from SmartSense, but with a smaller sensor. Selfie quality is average. As for video quality, this is footage from a selfie camera. Whether it's good or bad, I will leave the judgment call to you. After reviewing this phone, I realized I like it more than the time I bought it. Although it looks more ordinary now and its performance can compete with other Pro Max devices, HarmonyOS 6 is very smooth and the battery life is excellent if you don't play games. The camera system is my favorite, full range quad cameras, and it also has the brightest display I've ever seen. Add long-held advantages like signals and Face ID, and you will understand why Huawei phones remain popular. Oh, and it's also cheaper now, so for long-time Huawei users, this is the perfect time to upgrade. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. I'm Wei Huang from China, and we'll see you next time.